Hi everybody, my name is Olha. I live in Lviv. Currently, after the first day of war, I had to move out of the big city. It feels a lot safer in a smaller town. And as of first day of war, I started volunteering for the army. Every day resembles the previous one. From early morning checking the news, during the day working on all kinds of assignments that I receive from my friends, colleagues, acquaintances, people who know my friends, some people who hear that I can get them some important life-saving things. In the evening, I tried to pick up with the news to understand what was happening during the day when I was busy, and then the day repeats. It's been 20 days by now, and honestly, after first half of the day, I already feel tired. Though I understand how much is in front of us and that each of us have to continue their fight on their field. I've been living in Ukraine for my whole life, and I believe this is the most suitable country where I can bring the most help. That's why I decided to stay for as long as I can. Currently, where I am, it's safe, respectively safe. Although many people from my town decided to leave as well, especially those with small children. And they decided to go to different countries closer to the border, what is very impressible by myself, because they expect that they will be back home as soon as the war is over. And I would like to express a couple of things that come to my mind during these 20 days and that I'm trying to follow during all these days of struggle. First, I feel so much love and appreciation to my land, to my nation, to those people who are now on the front rows of the fight. And I'm trying to help, doing my best in different areas, trying to help as many people as I can. However, it always feels not enough. I want to also express my gratitude to all our country neighbors, specifically to Polish people who help us immensely on a daily basis. They, as nobody else, understand how frightening the war can be. And that's why maybe they feel so much pity to ourselves and so much love to our women and children. And not likely of myself and many people, I'm really feeling gratitude to our politicians who stand for Ukraine at the moment. They, as much as our nation, are not willing to get peace by any price. They are only willing to have Ukraine as a peaceful country within internationally recognized borders. That's what our guys are dying for at the moment. That's why we are not sleeping well, eating well, working well on our current workplaces, just to make sure that we are preserving our country in the borders that we used to have it, and we continue economically develop this land. Secondly, I would like to express my feeling of enablement of international organizations to prevent and to stop the conflict. It's okay if things do not work out. It's not okay to make impression like everything is just the way it is planned. We see currently, it's not happening only in Ukraine, it's all around the world, that there is no possibility that if there is a big enemy, any international institution can stop it simply with expressing their being not happy with their actions. That's why I'm thinking a lot about how myself as an individual can influence the situation. How can I input my own knowledge, my own forces into these organizations? How can I help where I am to make sure that people who are working as international consultants in big internationally recognized organizations can realize that what they are doing might be important, but it doesn't work to the extent that it is expected by the peaceful nations. And third thing, as well important, is that I'm thinking a lot about the future. I'm thinking about my own future as a Ukrainian. I have a lot of friends who, before the war, were thinking about looking around the world and seeing maybe there is a better place for them. And those who are my friends, they decided to stay here and to rebuild the economy of their country. So I'm thinking, how can I involve my knowledge and my experience in rebuilding the country? I'm thinking a lot about small stuff, such as sewing company, crop sewing company. I'm thinking a lot about rebuilding the houses for those people who lost them in the east, north, and south of Ukraine. Those who lost it here because of some missiles that went to even my region. I'm thinking about children who lost their parents. I'm thinking about people who lost their everything they had before, their normal life. And I'm thinking, how can we as a whole nation can unite? This is a very extraordinary feeling at this moment when we are all so much united in the face of the enemy. However, I realized then when the war is over, it takes as much energy and even more to rebuild it all from scratch. So what I would send you as a message with this speech is that, first of all, supporting Ukraine is not only supporting Ukrainian nation, it's also supporting peacefulness. It's also supporting democracy. It's supporting the choice of a small country, relevantly small comparing to the enemy we have, to live their own life. So with supporting Ukraine, you also acknowledge the possibility, the right for every nation to choose their own way of development. And this can be made for Ukraine and for all the states who are now experiencing any kind of enemy like us. It's also about helping Ukraine by visibility, by awareness, talking to people who who might not be aware of what is really happening here. Reach out to your Ukrainian friends. We are very open to talk about how we feel. Do not pity us, talk to us. If you have some organizations who are willing to help, ask them to step in here, because at the moment, so many people in the whole world are seeking for some help with their children. It's true that here where I am, we are helping those who went from east and south part to the western part, but they are also feel traumatized. So I'm thinking how we can help them to get over this trauma in the nearest years. As we all know, the trauma that is not healed, it is transmitted. So we need to think not only about the current generation, but about all those generations that will come after us. They need to feel safe. They need to feel protected by their politics, protected by their borders, protected by their allies. At the moment, that is not what we feel. And I understand that there will be a long way ahead of us to recover. But I also think about those who will come after us. They have to have it. We are ready to do everything possible for them to survive and not to feel that they are under threat, but to feel that ahead of them there is prosperity and there is a lot of good and positive future. So to those who know Ukraine, continue talking to us, continue supporting us in any way that you feel possible. In those who do not know about Ukraine just yet, find some friends here, help them to recover. And for those organizations who can work systematically, we will need your help immensely after the war is over. That's the biggest aim ahead of us, because I'm sure in our army, I believe in our nation. I know we will have to win, because if we lose everything. If we win a country that needs a lot of repairment to be done. So when you think about Ukraine, think about how beautiful it is. Think about how many land is now under the threat, but how many land is ready to be planted, ready to be equipped with all the plants and factories, is ready to start working ASAP to recover. And always think about people who will always be open to work with international community, who will always be open to grow as a nation. And think about the children who really want to see a peaceful sky. Slava Ukraini!